Hello everybody, this is Simon Clark from Trade with Precision, discussing some of my key markets of interest this week. Now the first market I want to take a look at here is crude oil. I've spoken about crude oil about sort of 5-6 weeks ago. We're looking at the time for stronger prices as the market was continuing to move up towards the $50 level. We'd already identified at that point that there was a couple of structure levels in the market around $50 and also around $60. Now since then we've had some rather interesting price action over recent weeks around the sort of $50 level, and we've also had some interesting fundamental news that's sort of come out that supports weaker prices at this moment in time. We've had the International Energy Agency sort of come out and say that there is a global supply glut of oil at the moment. This is now sort of pushing storage levels up to 7-year highs, and of course if there's a supply glut of oil, then that's not going to be very supportive of higher prices. We've also seen reports earlier this week from the API indicating that there's been an unexpected rise in the US storage stocks of oil as well. Now those have increased by 2.2 million barrels as well. So with a glut of supply and stock already in existence, it's hard to see how the sort of fundamental picture is going to be supportive of higher oil prices. So if we come and take a look at the markets here technically, we've got some rather interesting sort of occurrence happening here on these charts, which again is just sort of indicating a more bearish stance for me at the moment. So if we take a look at the monthly chart here, which is the chart here on the right hand side first of all, we can see that the trend has been in a broad downtrend. The market's been making lower highs, lower lows. The market was rather overextended when the market came down here and tested the lows down here, which was just underneath the $30 level. But since then the market sort of rallied back up, and it's rallied back up into the moving averages. And what I'm more interested in here is the fact that we had a small bearish candle here just above the 20 period moving average, also hitting that $50 level, and now subsequently this month so far we've got a rather bearish candle. It's actually broken the low of the last month's candle. So this is looking rather bearish for crude oil. And if this monthly trend is going to continue, well, I mean, I'm not even expecting it to come down here to the old lows at this moment in time. But even if we get a push down here towards sort of the 30-37 level, that's still a very reasonable move on some of these intraday time frames. If we come and take a look at the weekly chart here, and let me just open this up a little bit more, we can see the recent sort of price action. So we can see the trend up. The market then sort of tested 50, and we can see that that candle there where the market tried to push above the $50 level, but it failed to close above it. Failed to close, and then sort of the market pulled back underneath it. And since then the market has now started to put in the context of a downtrend here. So we've started to make lower lows here in price, and in fact even if we start to come down to the daily chart, we can see that here on the daily chart we've already got the structure here of a downtrend in place with lower highs and lower lows, and that's also supported by bearish convergence here too. So just indicating support for weaker prices here on crude oil. So what am I looking for here on crude? Well, when I start to look at this, what I want to see is where could price potentially move to, and I want to see if there is any sort of further structure points here in the charts that we can identify. So what I want to do is just to draw right out in this chart and really start to come out, get some history in here, and if I do that, and we can start to mark in these sort of previous lows down here. Now the sort of low down here also happens to cluster. We've got previous lows here, we've also got a previous low here the market's tested. If I zoom into this a little bit clearer, we'll also see now that this previous support has also been resistance and support again. So that level is around 37.5. So it's a rough level at this moment in time on this time frame, but we get a picture here that we've certainly got quite a long way potentially for price to move down before there's another support level and structure level there in price. So I'm looking for lower prices here on crude. I'll probably be looking for opportunities on the more lower time frames, looking for maybe sort of 4-hour time frames, 2-hour time frames, looking for pullbacks into the moving averages to get sort of positioned to ride the trend to the short side. Obviously I'm keeping a close eye on this and looking for the weaker prices there on crude. So let's take a look at the next market now, and the next one I want to take a look at here is euro dollar. Now the first thing I want to consider is the fundamental outlook for, or the fundamental news flow here for euro dollar. Certainly we've been having some positive news coming out of the US with positive jobs coming from the recent non-farm payroll news. That was a welcome surprise from the previous month's disappointing numbers. We've also been having some rather negative news coming through from the euro, specifically around the condition of the banking system in Germany and also Italy as well. So some rather interesting issues there, especially around the fact that German banks have failed the stress tests and Italian banks are looking for bailout as well. So all of this news is never going to be very supportive of the euro, and that together with looking at comparing it with the dollar, which is coming through as positive at the moment, it's just supportive more of a downward move here, or weaker prices for euro dollar. So taking a look at the charts here technically, we can see that the market here on the monthly chart has been in a nice sort of downtrend. We've had a nice sort of move to the downside. We've also now tried to make a new high through here, but it's failed to make a new high, and now we've got sort of selling pressure coming back into the market. So what I'm looking for here is to see, if the market sort of can come back down and sort of retest towards these old lows here. Certainly the fundamental side of things is supportive of a lower price move at this moment. If we come across to the weekly chart, we can see that the weekly chart has started to roll over here into an early downtrend. We've got lower highs and lower lows, and if I sort of open this up and we start to look at this in a bit more detail, what we can start to look for is if we got lower prices coming in, I want to see where there may be some sort of structure levels through here in the market where we could see perhaps the market moving down to before we find another decision point. And I think if we start to just draw a level through around here, which is just above this, well, it's around sort of 1.0800, just around this area, we can see that we've certainly had a clear distinction of previous lows forming here in the market. So we've got previous lows testing here, so I think move down to this sort of level is quite a reasonable move on those sort of lower time frames, and since we're in a downtrend already, again I'm just looking for the continuation of the move to that short side. If I come down to the daily chart here, again you can start to see that the downtrend is starting to open up. We've had the structure of the lower highs and lower lows, but now we've got the moving averages starting to open up here too. So for as long as we continue to have news flow supporting weaker euro and stronger dollar, I think this will be supportive of the continuation of weaker prices here, and looking for this sort of downtrend back down here towards the 1.0800 area in price. So that's a couple of markets that I'm keeping a close eye on here over the next couple of weeks for opportunities. Hope it helps, and certainly look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.